You know, that feeling, right? That deep frustration, you're mid-sentence, things are going okay,
Yeah.
and then bam. Your brain just stalls. It forces you back into translating from your native language. And suddenly you're saying something slightly off, like, I have 26 years old, because that native structure just sort of takes over.
Oh, yeah. It's almost universal for anyone learning another language.
Yeah.
But here's the key thing we found digging into this.
Okay.
It's not actually a sign that you're bad at English. It's not about talent.
Right.
It's purely mechanical. An inefficiency. Your brain's just using this, well, clunky three-step process it learned.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive then is to, like, figure out how to bypass that whole clunky thing.
Exactly.
We've looked at this really interesting 9-step plan someone developed, someone who actually went through this. And it's all about stopping that word-by-word trap and building, you know, a direct line, thought, straight into spoken English.
One step. That's the goal. It's about fluency, sure, but it's really about efficiency first.
Makes sense. So, to really get why the solution works, maybe we should start with the problem. Like, the science behind that lag. Why does that translation thing kick in so hard?
Well, it often goes back to how we learn, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. School mostly.
For a lot of people, yes.
Yeah.
If you learned English mainly in a classroom setting, you were probably actively trained to translate.
Right, matching words. English word equals native word.
Precisely. So you built that initial brain pathway, linking the two languages directly.
Yeah.
It's a habit, but one we were kind of, guided into.
And that habit forces that long route.
That's it. The 3 steps. Think it in your native language first.
Okay.
Then do the mental work of translating it over to English.
Which takes time.
Right. And then you finally speak. That's the source of the hesitation, the slowness.
And the frustration, definitely.
Absolutely.
But what I found really fascinating was the neuroscience piece you mentioned, about what's actually happening in the brain.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty compelling. When bilinguals speak, studies show they actually activate both languages at the same time.
Both. Simultaneously.
Yeah. Think of it like trying to listen to 2 different radio stations at once in your head.
Wow, okay.
Your brain is trying to speak English, but it's also actively working to suppress your native language interference. It's creating this huge amount of, well, mental traffic.
So it's not just constructing the sentence, it's also blocking the other one.
Exactly. That cognitive load is massive.
Yeah.
And it really explains why it feels so effortful sometimes, why there's that lag.
But there's good news, right? This neuroplasticity thing.
Huge good news. Neuroplasticity. The brain isn't fixed. It can adapt, it can change, it can rewire.
So every time you manage to just speak directly in English,
You're physically building that new shortcut, strengthening that direct pathway.
thought English speaking.
One step. That's the pathway we want to build.
And another point from the sources was that sometimes translation just flat out doesn't work, right? Like it's impossible.
Yeah, that's a crucial realization. We saw this great example. I think it was a Polish speaker trying to translate the word trigger, like in a psychological sense.
Ah, right. Because that concept might not have a perfect one-to-one word in Polish, or maybe it's borrowed from English anyway.
Exactly. If a concept is complex or borrowed or just culturally specific, trying to force a literal word-for-word translation, it's often a dead end.
So it doesn't just slow you down, it actually stops you from expressing certain ideas.
Precisely. It shows you have to grasp the concept as it exists in English, not just hunt for an equivalent word.
Okay. So translation is slow, it's mentally taxing, and sometimes it's just futile.
Pretty much sums it up. So we need a plan,
Yeah.
an intervention.
Let's get practical then. How do we start breaking that habit and building the new one?
Right. This brings us to the first step in the plan. It's an immediate technique.
Right.
It's called catch it and flip it.
Catch it and flip it.
It's about recognizing that exact moment, that tiny pause where your brain goes, wait, how do I say that in Polish or Spanish or whatever your native language is?
Ah, that internal question. I know that one.
That's your trigger, your alarm bell. You have to catch yourself asking that.
And then flip it.
And immediately flip the question. Instead of how do I translate this,
Yeah.
you force yourself to ask, okay, how would a native English speaker say this? How would they express this idea?
I see. So you're redirecting the search.
Exactly. And here's the powerful part. If you don't know the exact word or phrase,
Which happens a lot.
right, instead of giving up or defaulting to translation, you start describing, explain what you mean using the English you do know.
Ah, so you're working within English to solve the problem.
Yes, that description process, that circumlocution, that's active English practice. It builds the new pathways instead of digging the old translation red deeper.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Catch the translation urge, flip the question to how would a native say it, and describe if needed.
That's step one, the immediate intervention.
So if that's the quick fix, what about the longer-term habit building?
That leads straight into step two, maximum input and immersion.
Input, like listening and reading.
Listening, reading, watching. Getting as much English into your brain as possible. But crucially, it's about comprehensible input.
Comprehensible, meaning you need to understand most of it.
Basically, yeah. You need to find that sweet spot. Content that's, say, 80% understandable, but still have that 20% that pushes you a little.
Like watching a show where you follow the main plot, but maybe miss some idioms or specific jokes.
Exactly that. If it's too easy, you get bored, you tune out. If it's way too hard, you just get frustrated and give up.
Finding that zone.
That zone of slight challenge keeps you engaged, motivated, and learning efficiently. And you combine that with immersion making English part of your daily life, connecting emotionally with it.
Okay, so lots of comprehensible input. Find that sweet spot. Which leads us, I think, to vocabulary. Steps 3 and 4.
Yes, and a shift in how we think about vocabulary. Step 3 is learn chunks, not just words.
Chunks. You mean like phrases?
Exactly. Ready-to-go phrases. Things like at the end of the day, or take your time, or I'm looking forward to it.
Stuff natives say all the time without thinking.
Right. They're like pre-packaged units of meaning. They make speech flow faster, sound more natural, more idiomatic. Learning word lists is less effective than learning these functional chunks.
Okay, but hang on. If someone's still building basic vocab, isn't learning a whole phrase like at the end of the day kind of jumping the gun more stressful?
That's a really good question. And the answer loops back perfectly to step 2, the comprehensible input.
Context.
Context is everything. You don't just memorize the phrase at the end of the day from a list.
Yeah.
You hear a character in a movie, use it to summarize their point after a long discussion.
Right. You see how it's used?
You observe the situation, you feel the context, maybe the character's emotion, and you connect that whole scenario with the entire chunk. That makes it stick way better than just learning end of the separately.
Learning them in action.
Yes. And that leads directly to step 4. Use those chunks. You have to actually use them in your own speech.
Put them into practice.
Because we know memory is deeply tied to emotion and experience. The first time you successfully use a new idiom or tell a little joke in English that actually lands,
That feels good.
it feels great.
Yeah.
It creates a strong emotional connection, makes that phrase yours. The goal is to collect these chunks, especially ones that don't translate literally, forcing you to operate purely within English.
Making English your own tool, not just something you translate into.
Exactly. So we've covered interrupting the habit, getting the right input, and learning vocab in context. Now we need to refine the output.
Right. Part 3, the final steps. Starting with step 5, which sounds really active, shadowing.
Oh, this one is powerful. A real game changer for pronunciation and flow based on the research. We know just listening isn't enough to improve speaking.
So what is shadowing?
You take a short audio or video clip, like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, max. You listen really carefully. Watch the speaker's mouth if it's video. Then you pause and you repeat what they said immediately after them.
Like echoing them.
But crucially, it's not just about repeating the words. That's important, but it's only part of it.
What else?
You have to copy everything. The intonation, the rise and fall of the voice, the rhythm, the pace, the emotion they're conveying, even their pauses or gestures if you can see them.
So you're mimicking the whole performance.
Exactly. It's physical training. Your mouth, your facial muscles, they literally don't know how to make these new English sounds and rhythms until you force them to practice. Shadowing trains the muscles and the brain's auditory processing at the same time.
Wow. Okay. That sounds intense but effective.
It really is. Then, following that physical practice, step 6 tackles something that makes a huge difference in sounding natural. Learn fillers and connectors.
Oh, the ums and lost. No, wait, more than that, right?
More than that, things like, actually, by the way, basically.
The little words that bridge thoughts.
Exactly. They're not just noise. They actually serve a purpose. They smooth out the conversation, make it sound less robotic, and they signal to the listener that you're, thinking, processing, retrieving information.
Gives you a moment to think without awkward silence.
Precisely. But there's a warning here from the sources.
Okay.
You need to learn fillers that are appropriate for the accent or style you're aiming for.
Right, like American English uses like a lot more than British English sometimes.
Exactly. And we saw examples of people who become fluent, but say sprinkle their Spanish with English fillers like, which sounds really jarring.
Yeah, that would be weird.
So pay attention. If you're aiming for British English, learn British fillers, sort of, reckon. American English, learn the common American ones, totally, literally, even if sometimes used loosely. Don't mix them unnaturally.
Good tip. Okay, step 7 tackles the big one, the excuse.
The universal excuse, I don't have time.
Yeah, life is busy.
It is. But the research we looked at is pretty direct about this. Time isn't really the problem. Everyone has the same 24 hours.
Ouch. Okay, so what's the solution?
It's about finding and using the little pockets of time, those moments that usually just disappear.
Like commuting.
Commuting, walking the dog, waiting in line, doing chores. The suggestion came up, start talking to yourself in English while you cook.
Narrate your cooking.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm chopping the onions. Need about half a cup. Let's find the olive oil. It sounds silly, maybe.
A little bit.
But it forces you into active English production during a time you were already doing something else. Or think in English while you're driving. Record short, 1-minute videos of yourself talking about your day.
Use the treadmill time to watch English content.
Exactly. Find your pocket. The point is, don't let the no time excuse derail you. Even tiny bits of practice add up.
Okay, no excuses. Find the time. Which ties into step 8, right? Knowing yourself?
Perfectly. Step 8. What type of learner are you? Because how effective these small practices are depends a lot on matching them to your personal learning style.
Right. Visual, auditory. What are the others?
Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. That's learning by doing or moving and reading, writing.
So if you're visual,
You really need to connect language with images. Watching videos, using flashcards with pictures, mind maps,
auditory,
podcast, music, audiobooks. That treadmill tip, maximizing listening, is key.
and kinesthetic.
Yeah.
The movers.
Yeah. People who need to do something, maybe act out dialogues, walk around while studying, like that friend pacing a room you mentioned from the sources.
Yeah.
Incorporate movement.
I had a friend like that. Couldn't sit still to learn.
It's how their brain works. And reading, writing learners.
Journaling in English. Writing to-do lists.
Exactly. Setting goals in English, writing emails, keeping a diary. The key takeaway is know your style, then tailor your practice methods to fit it. Don't just copy someone else's routine if it doesn't suit how you learn best.
Makes sense. Maximize your effort by doing what works for you. Okay, that brings us to the final step. Step 9.
Step 9. And this one is maybe more about psychology, about the mental game.
Which is huge in language learning.
Absolutely. Step 9 is fake it until you make it.
Ah, the confidence trick.
Sort of. It's about consciously adopting the mindset, the attitude, the identity of someone who already thinks and speaks confidently in English.
Even if you don't totally feel it yet.
Especially if you don't feel it yet. It sounds a bit like wishful thinking, maybe?
Yeah, a little self-helpy.
Maybe. But the idea is that acting as if sends a powerful signal to your subconscious. This is who I am now. It primes your brain to align with that identity.
Okay, I can see how that could reduce anxiety and maybe make you take more risks.
Exactly. And it ties everything together. This whole 9-step plan, it's all about action. Consistent action.
Practice makes progress.
That's the mantra. Consistency trumps talent every single time. Even 5 focused minutes a day helps rewire that brain faster than 0 minutes. It all adds up.
So wrapping this all up then, the journey from that frustrating translation habit to thinking naturally in English, it really comes down to building new brain pathways.
Through consistent, deliberate practice, using neuroplasticity to your advantage.
It's not some magical talent you're born with or without. It's about doing the work, following a smart plan.
Absolutely. It's about building those neurological shortcuts step by step. Tenacity over talent.
Great takeaway.
So if we accept that adopting this mindset, this identity, lets you act like that confident speaker, someone who already uses English effectively, whether it's for work or travel or just connecting with people, then maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. If you're going to fake it till you make it, what's one specific English-only action or goal you can commit to this week? Something that proves that confident identity to yourself.
Ooh, nice challenge. Not just thinking about it, but doing something concrete.
Exactly. What's the proof you can give yourself this week?